Everyone, welcome back to Irish Uncensored. I'm here as always with my buddy Grant. How you going, man?
Oh, living the dream, laughing at the playoff committee. Yeah.
Oh, we'll get into that. So we're gonna get into the Virginia game, what we expect, and apparently the playoff too. So we'll be right back after this. As always, you can like and subscribe here for more content weekly, as long as we are able to. And you can join our Irish Uncensored page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter too. We've got all the links in the description. All right, Grant, let's get into this. So let's start with the Virginia game. We'll get into the committee later.
Okay, so Virginia-wise, so starting like with their offense, pretty high-powered. They typically touch 40, like at least in a game.
Yep.
I
think they've hit 40 every game. 43, 42, 39. 17 they sucked against Wake Forest. 30, 34, 48, 48, 49. So yeah, they score a lot.
They score a ton. They've got 4 wide receivers and a tight end, all who could pretty much at any point in time be the guy. Like, it's not like how in the past couple weeks there was, like, we played USC and North Carolina. They had like two guys. Like, those were the guys the ball was going to. This week is completely different. If their quarterback Armstrong plays, I think it's Brennan Armstrong. Might not be. I don't know.
He's hit 300 yards passing in every game but one, and no one on their team has had a 100-yard rushing game all season.
Yeah, I know from looking up some of the stats, like he usually averages 30 yards a game, the quarterback himself, but they are definitely a pass first team. They air it out and they're pretty good at it. So what my biggest concern, I mean, obviously it's looking like Kyle Hamilton may not be available for Notre Dame this week. So that's a concern in itself because he is an eraser of a lot of things. But also I'm afraid that we're going to do what we've done in the past and go to a 3 down front and drop and get no pressure and drop 8 to try to stop,
Their offense is so high potent, they're gonna be picking us apart no matter what we do. So we have to do what we do best, and that is rush the quarterback.
Yep, that's 4 down. And the thing of it is, up front, I think they've got okay size, and I think they can run the ball if they have to. I think if Notre Dame comes out in 3-man fronts, initially they may not they're not going to just like run the ball right away. I think they're going to try to stay within themselves and try to do what they do best if Armstrong's the quarterback. But if he's not, I mean, everything goes out the window. I know one of their backups is kind of more of a dual threat guy. One of them's actually from South Bend, I think, but you don't know what you're going to expect from those guys either.
Yeah, they have very little stats, like 6 attempts, 2 attempts, 2 attempts. So their backup quarterbacks are not even worth talking about because we just don't know.
We do like, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah,
depending.
Definitely. But I mean, if he's not playing, it's going to be a very different game. If he doesn't play, we should handle them.
Oh, absolutely.
We shouldn't even have this podcast because if he doesn't play, this game should be over.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. And on so defensively, if we play 4 down, I think this could be a game where our D line just shines again, like they have all year. I mean, we missed the North Carolina post and Navy pre, but our D line for both games I thought played their asses off.
Oh yeah,
and I mean, this could be another one of those type games. I mean, Armstrong's he's evasive, but he's not gonna take off on you. Like, he's not gonna. I'm trying to think of a guy who we played. He's not gonna Denard Robinson you and just outrun your whole freaking team.
Oh, Denard! Don't bring up Denard. Yeah, they lost to North Carolina by a lot. Obviously, we beat them. It was a while ago. They lost to Wake Forest, and they just lost last week to BYU, and they gave up 66 points to BYU.
we should defensively, as good as they are offensively, defensively, they are the worst defense that we've played all year, hands down.
Yeah, I expect Kyron to kill him.
Yes.
Whether that's on the ground or getting like dump off passes, I think he's gonna have five gains of 20 yards in this game alone.
Absolutely. And the thing, so excuse me. So last week we lost Avery Davis to a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Which really sucks. Hoping, I would love for him to come back another year. I think he has a year possibility to come back, of a year of eligibility, but they're going to move Lorenzo Styles into the slot, it sounds like, which I'm super excited.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has shown a ton of promise.
As much of a loss as that is, Styles coming in, I don't know if it's that big of an actual loss, because I think he is a potential star.
Yeah, I think it's just more of a loss of a leadership and
for sure.
You know, but athletically, I think Lorenzo can do a lot of the things that Avery Davis does.
Yep.
He's a senior and he's a freshman, and I would love to build on that. We're getting a ton of guys, a lot of good reps. You know, Diggs is tearing it up. I mean, Lorenzo, Coles, he's getting in there. I think we're down to I think they said 5 scholarship wide receivers, and one of them, 5 or 6, and one of them I think is Jalen, something. He hasn't played yet. They were trying to redshirt him this year, but he may get forced into action because we have so few scholarship wide receivers left on this team, between Keys transferring in the middle of the year, Avery Davis going down. I mean, we are going to see a youth train at wide receiver, and I'm here for it. Let's put Tyree on the slot and let him run some routes.
No shit. We've got 3 games left, so I think he could play. Is it 3 games?
I want to say it's 4.
Is it 4?
Without burning eligibility, I think it's 4. It might be 5. And that brings up another good point. Like, Blake Fisher at some point possibly could return. I don't know if they'll mess with it or not, but I mean, that could be another, boulder to our O-line. But offensively, if we're coming out with Cone, which we're going to,
yeah,
we need to not. I don't know what we were doing against Navy. Like, why did we come out and just? It's like we take steps forward and then we take steps back. Like, just spread the field out and let's do what the hell we did against USC and North Carolina. I mean, those were 2 of probably his best games all year. And Navy statistically looked sound. He was like 23 for 29 or whatever, but most of those yards were on a few chunk plays. I mean, I know that doesn't take them away, but at the same time, all those other throws were for not shit. Like, let's do what the hell we were doing successfully against this team that has a trash-ass defense. And let's step on some throws. Like, we need to start, like we talked about, we don't really feel like we have a shot at the playoff unless a ton of chaos happens, which I don't think that much chaos will happen. But we're not stepping on throats. I mean, we're not. We have not stepped on throats all season. You got to at some point get some style points here. You're not going to play another ranked team the rest of the year. Like, let's go out there and hang 50 on these fuckers like we should have hung on other teams instead of leaving points out on the field.
Yeah, I think this team is so bad defensively, but I don't think we should be taking shots early. I think we're going to get really easy completions and plays and easy 10-yard plays. Like, if we can get a slant in there and gain 12 yards, we got to take it. Don't worry about gaining 25 just because they're bad. Make them look bad. And then later, as they're like, fuck, we can't stop these plays, like closer to the line of scrimmage, then we can take shots. Like, we don't need to put them away in the first quarter. We're not that kind of team anyway. So we need to take advantage of what they give us because they already fucking suck.
Yep. And
then we can take advantage of them later.
Absolutely agree. And it should be, in theory, relatively easy. Like, we have all the tools that you need to do well against a team like this defensively. I'm more interested about our defensive side of the ball to see what they do versus our offense. Our offense should light them up. Even if they play bad, they should light them up.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. If we don't score 45 this game, I would say that's probably a fail.
Yeah, Definitely a fail.
If we're in the 30s, that's really like it's funny because that's a lot of points, but that's really just not good enough.
No, it's
Even with our backups in, we should be scoring on them.
exactly. And 30s not good enough. 40s barely good enough. Honestly, like there's been so many games this year that we've always talked about, like, oh, our offense. When are we gonna have our A game? When are we gonna have our A game? This is the fucking game. If you don't have your A game against this trash fucking defense, like I don't know what to tell you. Then it was never meant to be. Like,
Yeah, I think we could bring our B game and look like an A game. Like that's the kind of that's where we are at with our skilled players, and then with how they are defensively. And the thing about Virginia is it's almost like they might not be as bad defensively as it shows, but they just don't care. Like they put a defense out there and they're gonna try, but they're an offensive team and they know that.
Yes.
So it's not even about like them having bad players. They might have a lot of good defensive players. They probably do. They just don't care. I don't know if it's coaching, it's whatever their style is defensively is just bad and it doesn't work. And if they had a better defensive coordinator or whatever, maybe they'd be able to figure it out, but they can't. So we got to take advantage of that.
Definitely. I mean, Kyron's going to have another big game. Who are your offensive and defensive players of the game that you're anticipating?
Kyron, I expect to have 200 yards, like not 100, 200
rushing and receiving.
Yep, combined. How could you not predict he gets an extra 10 yards on plays that he shouldn't get any yards, and that now we're playing a defense that we know sucks. He should just tear them apart. And if not him, I would say maybe Styles, because he's coming into a new role, and I don't know if they'll know what to do with him.
Yeah, you're right. And there's film on Styles, but I don't know that they're going to be able to do anything about it with him playing in the slot. Like,
yep,
I'm not sure how they're going to handle that. Defensively, who you thinking?
Defensively, I'm just going to say Foskey every game now.
I mean,
because he's scary.
Pretty good choice.
Think about all the good defensive linemen we've had in our history just since we've been alive. Like randoms like Tuitt, Sheldon Day, just every year. Fleming, he might be better than all of them.
He could be. He could wind up being better than all of them. It really just depends on his future development. This year, he's taken a big leap.
Yeah,
I'd love to have him back for another year, but I don't know if he's gonna.
I
think he's gonna get at least a second round grade, and it's just at that point you're talking about millions of dollars. That's life changing. So if he gets second round, third round grade, I don't really blame him for leaving. I mean,
if he comes back another year, though, he might be the name in college football. Not say I think if he wants to leave, go, because college football is a fucking stupid. You don't get paid and shit. It's dumb, but. If he comes back, he could make a name for himself.
Absolutely. This game, I'm thinking that, gosh, I don't want to just take a random shot on offense. I'm gonna say I like your Styles pick offensively. Like, I think he's gonna break 100 yards, maybe a touchdown, maybe 2.
Austin's been looking better too. I wouldn't be shocked if he had a good game.
I mean, I expect Kevin Austin at this point to not drop passes and do shit that a freshman. But
but he has.
He has, and I understand it is what it is at this point. But he's as long as he continues on the trajectory he is, I'd love to have him back next year too. Defensively, no Kyle Hamilton, man. That's tough. I mean, I want to say Cam Hart, but I honestly feel like he's struggled the last couple games, tackling specifically. I'm going to go with DJ Brown. If Kyle Hamilton's out, DJ Brown has stepped up pretty solid the last couple games. Yeah. And, he had a pick against North Carolina. I just think he's starting to build confidence that could turn him into a better safety than we thought he could be. And he will be back next year. So I'm hoping DJ Brown can have a good game if Kyle Hamilton is absent, which it sure seems like he's going to be. Yeah. So kind of transitioning off of that, what did you? I don't know if you got to see the rankings for the college football playoff or not.
I did, but we should pull them up.
Yeah, let's take a look here.
Do you have them pulled up?
Not
College
yet.
football playoff. Okay, so we got Georgia. No, this can't be right. Georgia's number 1 though.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's an easy one. I'm not getting Georgia, Bama, Oregon, Ohio State. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Cincinnati is at 5 or 6.
They're at 5, and then Michigan, Michigan State.
Yep. You got it. So here's the Michigan State beats Michigan head-to-head this week, and the committee comes out and they put Michigan ahead of Michigan State, and their justification is that Michigan's the more complete team, despite the fact that Michigan State has played a significantly tougher schedule, I think, than Michigan. I mean, Michigan State's knocked off some people that no one thought they were going to beat. I mean, what are you doing? And here's the other thing. Okay. It doesn't make sense to have the playoff the way they have it now, in the sense of the fact that, okay, you have Ohio State in. Ohio State lost to Oregon. Okay, whatever. Oregon lost to Stanford. Like, there are literally 2 teams in the top 4, Bama and Oregon, who have worse losses. And this is just like, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think we should be in the top 4, but they have worse losses than Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We have, beside Ohio State's loss to Oregon, we have the best loss in the country. By their rankings. We have the best loss. And we're sitting at 9. And then not to mention Oklahoma's undefeated. And they didn't even fucking move.
Yeah, Oklahoma is at 8, so they're just ahead of us. Then we got Oklahoma State right behind us at 8-1.
The point of the rankings is to put what is currently there in front of you. If Bama and Ohio State play their way in and they win out, we know they're going to be in. We know that. But the point of the rankings now is to not foreshadow what you think is going to happen. The point of the rankings is to put what the fuck is actually happening on paper.
Yep. I agree with everything you said. It's really pathetic. The only thing that I have to say about it, about these rankings, is everyone gets mad about them, and they're wrong. They have a right to be mad about them, but they literally don't fucking matter.
They don't mean shit.
These rankings might as well be written on toilet paper because they mean nothing. Next week, the entire top 10 could be different.
Yep.
And the other thing is, they will move people, win or loss, like up or down, the opposite direction. Like if they lose, they could move up.
Yeah.
Like it really doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is after the final game is played.
Yeah. I mean, you're completely right. And I'm sure this whole thing they do, this big old hoopla about like the football playoff rankings weekly, is just for ratings. It's just for ratings. It's just to get people worked up. They put this fucking slapdick committee fucking together, and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, I know if I were them and it was this week and that somebody said what we should put Michigan over Michigan State. And I said, that's the stupidest thing ever. That'll make so many people mad. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Because why not? It doesn't matter. These teams aren't in or out right now. It's just a random numbers. You could fucking put Purdue at number 3 right now if you wanted.
Well, because
doesn't matter.
People like us, I mean, not that we have a great following, but everyone's talking about it.
Yep.
So like, and what people are saying is how Michigan State lost to Purdue. They lost to an unranked Purdue team, but Michigan lost to Michigan State, who was good. Like it was like the whole rationale. Like, and what makes it bad is that they actually come out and try to justify what the fuck they're talking about, and they sound like idiots.
Yeah,
like, dude, just Oklahoma's undefeated. Put them in your top fucking 4 until they play themselves out of it. Like, what is the purpose of that? How is Bama losing to A&M and at the 2? If you have Bama at the 4, then what? I mean, whatever. Fuck. I mean, fine, but you're gonna put Bama at the 4, at the 2 and losing to A&M, who already has 2 losses. Like, you have to make shit make sense. You have to if you're going to do this. But like you said, it ultimately doesn't mean shit. We're here. They're here for the views and the clickbait and everyone to be talking about it every single week. But it's still annoying. It just was irritating as all get out.
So ever since my prediction on Cincinnati losing a game, they've won every game. They smacked Temple, smacked UCF, and then they beat Navy by a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
They were, I want to say they were up by 4 to Tulane at half. And they ended up beating them pretty handily.
Tulane. Who'd they play last week? Tulsa.
And then last week they beat Tulsa by 8.
Did you see the end of that?
Yeah.
Dude, they literally were on the Cincinnati's doorstep for a touchdown. He reached across the goal line and it just got knocked out. Cincinnati, I can't not reiterate this. That was a shit loss by Notre Dame. I cannot. You know what I would fucking love? If we both would make the playoff, run that shit the fuck back.
Yep, I agree completely. And
I would love to run that fucking back. You know who would play in that game? Fucking Kyle Hamilton. He'd play in that game with one fucking leg to run.
What I said, we gave that game away. And Cincinnati, it's like we handed Cincinnati the game, and what they did is they said, no, let's see if we earn it, because they sucked. We gave them the win, and they almost gave it back because they fucking suck. They're terrible.
Game with and 3 terrible turnovers and vice versa red zones blows my mind. But we've talked about that. But let's talk about another favorite subject: how bad the Big Ten is.
Yeah, the Big Ten. I mean, we've said it all year. Ohio State is usually the only team worth shit. Michigan and Michigan State is pretending like they're good, and then they get knocked off by like Purdue and Wisconsin, who we've already beaten, stuff like that. Iowa, remember when Iowa was ranked up there and we laughed?
Oh my God. Because their offenses are all the same. It's like we run the ball. No one can pass the ball in the Big Ten except for fucking Ohio State, it feels like. And if you get a team that has a good defense, which I will say that I feel like Big Ten defenses are typically okay at stopping the run. But regardless, dude, you can't sit here and tell me that Michigan and Michigan State and all Iowa, Penn State. Remember how people just Penn State is shit.
I forget who beat Penn State early in the year, and they were like, "Oh, that's a big win." And we were like, "No, it's not."
It's not a big win. I sat there and watched that whole dog shit game. It was freaking awful. And then their 9-0 Illinois game, like, dude.
Yeah, embarrassing. The Big Ten embarrasses themselves every year, and somehow they still get credit. I have no clue how that happens.
I don't know why. I don't understand.
Yeah, it'd be like if you punched yourself in the nuts 10 times in a row every single year, and somebody comes back and says, that last punch, it really wasn't that hard. Like, maybe they're actually figuring it out. Like,
yeah,
they suck. They fucking suck. Ohio State's the only team that like consistently is pretty good.
Yep.
But I don't even know if they're that good this year.
They're not as good as they normally are, which is also another reason why it's a little shocking for them to be ranked as high as they are with a loss, because they also have a loss at home to Oregon, which Oregon's a good team. Oregon also didn't have their 2 best players playing when they played Ohio State on the road and still whooped that ass. So, I mean, would it have been closer if one of the dudes they're missing is like maybe the number 1 pick in the draft this year. Thibodeau or whatever his last name is. The dude's a freaking monster. And he was out. And I don't know who the other top guy that was out, I heard too. But regardless, you lost that game at home. Like, if you're going to give Notre Dame shit for losing to Cincinnati, you should be giving Ohio State shit for losing to Oregon without their best player or 2. I mean, straight up.
Yeah, Ohio State's not that good. But that's the thing about us. Like, I'm not saying that the Big Ten is bad and we're better. The way we've played this year, we are not. We should be, but we're not. And it fucking sucks because if we just figure this shit out after game 1 against Florida State, when we should have figured it out, because I feel like we did.
Yeah.
As fans, like we were like, all right, we know what to do now. And then we came out for 5 more weeks and did the same shit.
Dude, that Florida State game was scary as fuck. I was like, no, not like this. Please.
Yeah, that was terrible.
But yeah, I mean, I took a look at some bets. I think we're -5.5 right now. I would take that personally. We should definitely.
You have to take that.
The money line is -210. Again, I would take it. The over is 64. I would also, in all likelihood, hammer the over. Because one of us is
64 total. Holy shit! Yeah.
It might have been 68, but anyway, you cut it. Oh no, it's 64.
Yeah, we have to be. I mean, like I said, we need to be scoring 50, really, but in the 40s, and then they have a good offense. The only thing that could change that is if Anderson's hurt, but
yeah. So if he plays, that over 64 is fucking hitting.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, that over 64 should probably still fucking hit.
Yeah, and you know how it goes. Some fucking guy will come in. It's his first start ever against Notre Dame, and he's going to play really good. They'll be like, oh, he came into play against Notre Dame. This always fucking happens.
DJ Uungalele has to throw for 450 or something.
Yeah, it's going to be something stupid. It always happens to us. It's a big stage, 7:30 game on ABC. It's like the biggest game of probably anyone on Virginia's life.
Dude, they literally moved this game to another night game. Like, I don't mind night games. I hate waiting, but like, holy fuck, is there another team that's played 3 or 4 night games this year? Like,
yeah, I think we've played more than that. I don't know. We've played a lot of night games.
North Carolina, SC, and Virginia at night. Did we?
And Florida State.
And 4 night games.
So this is 5.
Prime time, like Notre Dame prime time. Put them in the slot. People are gonna watch. That's just the plug and play shit, and it's fine. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know if another team's schedule shifts more than Notre Dame's in time. I don't know another team that the buys come before they play Notre Dame like our schedule does. Like, it may just be how it all works out, but it sure doesn't fucking feel like it.
I think partially the bias thing is because we're out of conference.
So it just fits with their schedule.
It just fits with their conference schedule, which sucks for us. But I don't think that's a slight at us. I think it's more of a scheduling thing.
You could be completely correct, but it's like, damn, if everyone has 2 weeks to prepare for Notre Dame and they're a half-assed decent school, you should probably fucking win. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to touch on. Recruit-wise, I mean, we just got Drake Bowen. I
saw that.
Beast. Fucking beast, man. I cannot tell you how excited I am to get these 22 and 23 class guys on the defensive side of the ball on fucking campus and playing for us. These dudes are fucking nuts. I mean, we haven't recruited like this. The 23 class are the 2 defensive ends, Vernon and Keeley. Holy shit. That's like the Tuitt, Aaron Lynch, fucking Ishaq Williams class that we have. And
hopefully they turn out better. Not that they were a bad class, but we thought like the ceiling was so high.
Oh yeah. Well, Aaron Lynch transferred out, and I was shocked by that. And you know how it all went down, but ultimately, like that, they have that talent. Like, it's crazy, and our defensive line depth is already going nuts. So we missed that. We'll try to be back for a post game on Virginia. Apologize for the lapse, but we were both really, really busy these last 2 weeks. It just hasn't really ever clicked for us. Working opposite schedule. So, any closing thoughts?
No, that's it. I expect a smackdown. Really, I think we're gonna smack the shit out of them, and I think we should the rest of the year.
I agree. Let's get it fucking done.
Yep. But as always, go check us out on Facebook, make sure you like and subscribe. Unless you dislike this, then hit that dislike button. And then check us out on the Twitter too. But until we see you again, go Irish.
Go fucking Irish.